What up? You already know it's Trub, aka Big Chef, and I just jumped off the porch with Dirty Glove Blaster. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta reload, still got the cheat code money on Debo. We don't even need those running on beast mode. Better hide your from me, cause I'ma take her like repo, yeah.
Yes, sir. We got my boy Trub jumping off the porch with us today. What's up,
Yes,
bro?
sir. What's going on, man? How you doing, man?
Coolin', bro. Everything great on this side, man.
Yes,
How you
sir.
feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. It's an honor to be here. You know,
sir.
I've been wanting to do this for a long time. So.
Word, that's what's
Yeah,
up,
it's
man.
dope.
What's shit?
Yeah.
Welcome to the porch, man.
Hey, thank you, man. I'm on the porch, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Trub, the name.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it has a lot of meaning to it.
Yeah.
Can you break that down for us?
Really, it stands for everything to represent me in every way. Truth, real, unique, and blessed.
Okay.
It's like everything to represent me. You know, my first name was Little Trouble. Then me and my lawyer thought it'd be better to break it down, you know, to something that represents me in a better light.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. So
Nah, for
truth,
sure,
real,
man.
unique, and blessed. Yeah.
Nah, for sure, bro.
Yeah,
Because
for sure.
life is about taking our experiences
Yeah.
and whether good or bad, and,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean, like using those experiences to
Yeah.
continue to move in a positive direction.
That's
so,
right.
you
That's
know,
right.
for you to be able to, you know, take trouble, you know what I'm saying,
That's
to
right.
actually meaning, you know, something, you know, for greatness, something for positivity.
That's
you know,
right.
It's dope.
That's right. Thank you.
So you're born in Alexandria, Virginia?
Yeah.
But-
Go one.
Huh?
Go one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for sure.
and so DC area, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
for sure.
then like you really like grew up in Memphis and
right.
and you know came to terms or became a man in Memphis.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Everything about me, you know, cut, you know, from Memphis, you know, from who I am today. Memphis made me who I am. You know, just everything, you know, learning from just how to get through in the city. 'Cause well, I look at it, Memphis, like if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's a tough, gritty area. You know what I'm saying? You got to be cut a certain way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You really got tough skin coming from Memphis. So that's really what it is. So,
Yeah, nah, for sure. And what part of the M you from?
Hey, South Memphis. You know,
Okay,
I go in the Haven. We call it, you know, it's White Haven. We call it Black Haven. We flipped it.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, I'm from the Haven.
Okay, word.
Yeah,
nah,
yeah,
that's what's up.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what's up. And I mean, first of all, Memphis just as a whole. So historical when it comes to music. I mean, you go
right.
all the way back to Stax.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
You come into the more current times. You get into the '90s, and you got
Yeah.
3-6 Mafia, Play
That's
It
right.
Fly. You know what I mean?
That's right.
People like that, and
That's right.
and then 3-6 Mafia really just developed a sound that I mean, still to this day, I think if you look at like two producers or two camps whose sound still resonates in music, it would have
Facts.
to be 3-6 Mafia, Juicy
Facts.
J, DJ Paul with
Facts.
the production, and then Manny Fresh.
Facts.
You know what I
Facts. 100%.
Yeah.
100% agree. Yeah.
Do you feel like coming, you know, doing music and being from Memphis, is there sort of like do you feel a pressure to make like a certain type of music to actually, you know, have people like feel your music, or you know what I mean, like really tap into it?
That's a great question. I really used to be honest. I used to, because my ear was like really, you know, I grew up in Memphis, so my ear was tuned to just strictly that sound that, you know, that I'm around, that I'm surrounded by. So that's all I was making, coming up with just making that type. So when I started to really tap into like artists in different areas and I started to travel, you know, I really started seeing what other markets like. And so that's when my ear started to open up, and I was like, you know what, I can still be who I am and keep, you know, my story and where I come from, because I've always had a different sound. So I was like, I can still keep that, but I could take my sound, you know, to a commercially, you know, bigger audience in the world, and take the Memphis element of what I know and put it in a different light, you know, and just, you know, just make it look different, you know what I'm saying? But I felt pressure by that for a long time. I was like, man, if I ain't really making this particular Memphis sound, it's like, you know, where am I gonna stay? Like, where I'm gonna be? Am I gonna be still in the box? Am I gonna say the city gonna love me, gonna rock with me like that? But me tapping into what I did, you know, I end up getting, you know, embraced. So, and they end up rocking with it. They like the fact that everybody in the city love the fact of what I'm doing. So it's great.
Nah, that's dope. That's what's up, man. Because that can be tough, bro. Because like you know, you want to be embraced by your peers, but then you also know like what people are accustomed to.
Yeah,
And if you're not delivering that, then there's a high chance that they may, you know, not want to, you know, tap into your music or into your sound.
Exactly.
At what point would you say that you developed your love for music? Like, when did you know that this was something that you wanted to do?
When I made my first beat, you know, because I couldn't, when I came up, when I started really getting into music, because my family couldn't really afford to do studio or nothing like that. So when I really started to tap into music, when I was like about 16, 17, I couldn't afford beats or nothing. So I had my folks, try to get some money together, give me a Roller 909 groove box. I started making beats, and I was like, man, I love this, So I would take it to the studios and sell them to different artists and stuff like that to get money for studio time. And that's how I did it, And from there, it just the love grew and grew and grew. And then from there, when I started to really got my first time on the mic and jumped on my first feature, it was a wrap.
Word. So did you start out as a producer, or was it that typical story of I was a rapper, didn't have nobody to produce for me, so I went ahead and just started making?
Yeah, I felt I was always a rapper, but I didn't, like I said, I couldn't afford beats or nothing like that, so I couldn't afford it. So I just, I was like, hey, I'm gonna make my own beats. I'm gonna do it myself, because that's how I am. I don't let nothing stop me. I don't let nothing get in the way. I go for it. If I never got handed nothing. I went and got mine, out the mud. So I was like, I wasn't gonna let it stop me. If I couldn't get a beat, I'm gonna go get a machine to make my own beat. You know what I'm saying? If I can't get a hook, somebody to do the hook for me, or can't sing it for me, I'm gonna figure out how to sing it myself. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna figure out a way. That's how I was on mentality.
Word.
Yeah.
And what type of kid were you growing up, Trub? Like, what were you into, bro?
Man, I was into sports. I was into sports. My pops was a coach. Basketball coach, so I was in the sports, doing that. So really for me, it was sports and rapping. That was it, Yeah. So, I rock with school, and it's cool, but I wasn't that great. I was really locked into what I was trying to do, but I was a cool kid. I made a lot of mistakes, but I flipped those and put them into, a better light instead of getting caught up in, what I could have been doing. It could have laid me down the wrong road. I just took the route in terms of, look, this is what I know what I want to do, and I got to stay focused on this. I ain't gonna let none extra try to sidetrack me and make me go down a different light. Especially because it's easy to do that in Memphis. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's what I did. Yeah.
And what was the vibe of your household growing up?
Man, it was cool, man. My folks, I love my folks. They was always 100, even through mistakes I made, because I made so many of them. But they always held me down. I always believed in me. He wanted to do music. You know what I'm saying? Keep my mom Deuce up 3, 4 in the morning. She hearing me making these beats, having multiple, folks in the house, like room packed full of people in there, rapping, and she always been supportive. My pops always been supportive, what I'm saying? Even when they was like, man, you sure you want to do this? So, but they still kept at it, and it was always 100. I always loved they always been my rock, to this day, and it showed, because when they first bought me everything, my piece of equipment, that showed me that they was in it for the long ride, because they knew it was gonna be that. They knew I was dedicated to it. So it's always been a good, positive household, even through anything negative that's been going around. It was always 100, always positive.
As sad as this may sound, it's rare that men grace the porch who have been raised by the father.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you just talk about just how important it is, for not only men, just for anybody to, have a father in the house, and just to have that type of support from a man?
Man, it's a blessing. It's a blessing, and I hate that it's like that, but it's a blessing, especially when you got a dad, man, that really, dad's always gonna, especially when you got a tough dad, they're gonna, they're gonna cut you a different way, in terms of giving you that motivation as a man to stand on your 10, not get down on yourself, be hard on you when you do something wrong, always, give you that motivation, just that push, to be the best in yourself, and they see more in you than you see in yourself. So to have that, it's really a dope thing. It's a blessing, because like I said, I know a lot of folks like that don't have it. And playing sports, a lot of my teammates, they looked at my dad like a pops, a lot of them, in the project stuff, they really didn't have no father figure, so they looked at my dad, so they hanging out with me, and we all hanging out, and I loved it, because he give them that same love that he give me. So I saw that, and I saw how serious that is. So I just appreciate it. Thank God, man, that I got a pops, man, that stayed with me, didn't never give up on me, and kept riding with me through anything I done. So.
Nah, for sure, bro. As I've been tapping more into like spirituality and just understanding even masculine energy, feminine energy, and us growing up in these households where, all right, let's say, me, for example, I grew up, raised by a single mother. Luckily, my grandfather, who was militant, really strict, you know what I mean? Like, that was where I got, a lot of, being a man's man from. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
But a lot of people grow up in situations where, a lot of men grow up in situations where their first interaction
That's right.
with a man, their first uncomfortable interaction with a man is with the police.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
And so
Yeah.
then a lot of us
100%.
never know how to even control our emotions or how to handle those types of interactions. You know what I mean? So that's why I wanted to tap into that, because I feel like it's so important, you know what I mean, for us to have that balance, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's serious. It's serious. You know, the world tough, so you gotta have that. You gotta have that. It's really important.
Yeah. So were you in a strict household? Were your parents like really supportive of the music, or what?
Yeah, man, they were really supportive. I wouldn't say they were too strict, because they knew I was gonna do whatever I was gonna do, whatever. So they wasn't too strict. They were really strict about making sure that that I stayed on track, but not too strict in terms of like, hey man, you can't go here, you can't go there, because I was always in Orange Mound and in the studio, you know, and recording all the time, all times of the night, coming home all times of the night, you know, 15, 16, 17 years old, come home 3, 4 in the morning, you know, knowing they got school or something like that. Well, like, so they never really like tripped on me like that, but because they knew what I was doing. But you know, they still was like, you know, man, you gotta stay focused. You know, you still got to do this. You still got school. You still got to do this. So they still, you know, was on me strict about that. But in terms of letting me do what I was trying to get done, they were still supportive of that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. At what point would you say you jumped off the porch?
Man, I would say I jumped off the porch. I'd probably say about 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
And during that time, do you remember the circumstances around you that made you have to take that step into independence?
Yeah, for sure. I'd say really just seeing how my brother, you know, my big brother, man, just seeing how he really did it, you know, because he was rapping before me.
Okay.
So seeing how he really like went out to North Carolina when he had like 18, 19, and how he was moving, and you know, from there it just really, you know, gave me a motivation like, hey, I could do this young and really, you know, get out here and go get it, you know what I'm saying, and not stay in, you know, in this setting. And you know what I'm saying, I know I love my folks, I got my parents, I know this, but I'm gonna move around in these streets and I'm gonna go get it, you know what I mean, because I just seeing how he did that, I was like, that motivated me for real.
Yeah, for sure. And besides your brother, did you have any other mentors, any other big homies that like helped show you the way, you know, show you some game?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I got to shout out my brother Enigma. You know, that was my first producer, my first engineer. He in Memphis, you know, he had a studio in the Orange Mound called the Lions Den. Okay. So that's that right there. Enigma showed me so much guidance. He was recording me, of course, my engineer, but he was always like a big brother to me. He always gave me, you know, good guidance and, you know, telling me this and telling me even when times I was frustrated with my pops or frustrated about this, he always told me, man, hey, that's still your pops. That's still this, you know, man. You know, even though, you know, you try and do this, it's hard. You know, they saying you trying to go after this and, you know, it's hard, you know. So he always gave me the good advice, tell me keep God first, you know, different things like that. You know, even when he seen me bring certain folks to the studio that might have not had good energy attached to them. Yeah. He always tell me watch my circle, you know, keep my eyes open, because I used to move around a lot, so, you know, with a lot of people around me. So he gave me good advice. He's a big brother, man. Shout out to Negro.
At a young age, did you take that advice? Did you take to that advice, or did you more have to like knock your head a couple of times to kind of, you know?
Yeah. I would say I definitely took the advice, but I knocked my head. I'll probably say once I did. Yeah. About once I did. You know what I mean? I kind of got sidetracked, you know. I felt like it was probably an ego thing. I started to, you know, it really was like right after I did my first Gangsta Grillz. I was like, I got a little ego, so I think that would hit. But that one time though, you know, I got had some people around me that, you know, didn't really mean too well. So, you know, but I learned my lesson though. Yeah.
And speaking of the Gangsta Grillz, talk to us about it, bro. How'd that come about? You know, man.
And shout out DJ Lil Larry, man. You know, with drum, you know, with drum.
Staple in the city of Memphis.
DJ
too,
Lil Larry, man. That was my first.
That
was me. He was the first one to put me on the radio in Memphis. First one that saw my vision. He put me and Don Trub together on the first collaboration. And Lil Larry, you know, he was like, man, let's do, you know, we do a Gangsta Grillz, and we did it. And that was the first mixtape that really got the city embracing me, you know, and rocking with me. You know, when I did that, I started to see a lot of people in Memphis really starting to like open up to me and rocking my sound. I started meeting a lot of DJs, a lot of club owners, a lot of folks, and people in the streets really got cool with me. And I was like, this was a good move. And I just appreciate Lil Larry for that, because he was really the first DJ that saw that in me and believed in me, heard me out.
Lil Larry is truly a visionary, bro.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
he stands behind. He's always standing behind artists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like before everybody else see it. I mean, you just mentioned Don Trip, and I remember in the early days of Don Trip, and when we were posting Trip early on, and linking with him in Memphis, and Larry Live being with him, or even linking with them cats in New York. You know what I mean? Same too. So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you remember the first beat that you sold?
Yeah, I remember the first beat I saw. Yeah.
Okay, so
that's a good question.
Yeah, can you break that down and tell me what was the feeling like, when you sold your first beat?
Yeah, you know what? I ain't even want to sell it, to be honest. I loved it. It was called One Mic. I did the hook on it and everything. Kind of sampled myself, and I sold it to my big homie Kenny Kane and his brother Abel Wayne. So, but it was amazing, man. It's called One Mic. It was really dope. But that was the first one I sold. Just to do that, it was a great feeling because I knew that that they were blessing me. I didn't even look at it as a prophet because I respected them so much as an artist. I looked up to them, so they just really blessed me and gave me, it let me know, gave me the motivation that somebody liked my work that I did outside of me being a rapper, and really appreciate that. And they went and killed it, man. So I'm glad that they got it. They killed it.
Right. That's what's up. And in terms of recording music yourself, do you remember the point in time where like that trigger or that flag was shown, where it was like, oh yeah, this what I'm supposed to be doing?
Yeah. I would say when I did my first show on the Dub Car Show tour, when I got put on that, when I did my first show, I would say at Ocean City, Maryland, and we went out there, and it was unbelievable. You know what I'm saying? The way the crowd was, and the way of attention, and that was really my first time really being in front of a massive crowd of that size, and to see how well they embraced me and see how people was, hollering, and we was throwing out shirts. It was just so fun. But seeing that, I knew that moment right there. I was like, oh yeah. I was born to do this, man. God gave me a gift. I was born to do this right here. Yeah.
And you went on tour with Ace Hood.
Yeah.
Too, right?
Sure. Yeah.
How was that?
It was amazing. 2022, it was dope, amazing, especially coming right after the COVID whole breakdown. Then that being the first tour doing. It was amazing. Ace was. I always respected Ace, because he's always been 100, because I met him, before. So just before we met in South Carolina, and got to talk before we hit the road, and it was incredible, good energy. He was very supportive of, of me doing my thing, telling me just be myself, go out there and kill it, so it was really fun, man. And traveling, getting to see the cities, it was my first time like performing in San Fran and different places like that, and Cali, so it was dope. It was amazing.
Word. Yeah. And if you look on your YouTube channel, you got a couple of visuals with 4 million views, 2.5 million. Can you tell me?
Thank you.
Can you tell me the first song that like took off for you, that just really gave you that buzz and a good feeling?
Yeah, She Fell in Love. She Fell in Love. It was a record I got called She Fell in Love. That was the first one that I seen. Shout out Tony Neal. I sent it to him. I sent it to him first, and he heard it, and he was like, "Man, this gonna get you. This gonna get you out here.
Yeah.
Get people want to know who you is. It's just gonna rock." I'm putting this on my radio station immediately. He put it on his iHeart show. Started spinning off. Got with my brother Swamp Izzo, did a DTLR tour around Atlanta, hitting all the high schools. We did that, getting all the kids on it. They was rocking with me, and it really set me up for my next single, because at that time I really didn't have a presence on YouTube or nothing like that. So I was still trying to figure out, like, man, how I'm gonna get 1 million views, like how I'm gonna get myself, get my rep up out here and get people rocking with me. And that song really opened up the door for that, because after that, everything I did was just kind of, it just started going up. So it was a blessing that that happened, and I did that. Yeah.
Nah, for sure. Yeah. Can you speak to how much of the success that you've seen so far has been you just really taking chances and stepping out on faith? Really,
it's incredible, because of the fact that knowing the fact that I got that faith, stepping out there and going out there and getting it done and taking these steps. I feel so confident every time I make a move. Because I got that faith, because I know what I've been through, I know what type of work I put in, I know what type of people I got around me. It took a long time for me to build the team I got around me, so to see that fall in place like that, and then see all the work I put in to be at the skill level I'm at right now, to be blessed with that, you know, it feel good every time I step out there with them.
Word. Nah, that's what's up. Tell us about the song "Rip and Run" with Don Trub.
Yeah, that's
Like, how'd that come about, bro? Like, or what was the? Did you guys work in the studio together?
I actually sent that to him. Trip be on the move, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I actually sent it to him. But me and Trip, that's my brother, man. We do so many collaborations. We done so many collaborations. It's a blessing, you know. Ever since we did our first one. Cause that was, you know, that was a song that really opened me up in Memphis in terms of like getting everybody on me. With me and Don Trub did a collab. So, but Rip and Run, I was fresh off right after the Ace Hood tour. We just got off tour, and you know, I was like, you know, my brother Marcus Brandon, you know what I'm saying? That's my brother, man. He did this hard track, and he had the Skinny Pimp sample in it, and I was like, man. So I called up Skinny. You know, Skinny, you know, I let him know what was going on. You know, man, Skinny's my dog, so he was like, hey, man, I'm rocking with it. I said, man, I got something I'm gonna put Trip on. You know, he cleared the sample for me. And then after that, I called Trip. You know, I did what I did my hook and the verse and everything, sent it to him, and I knew Trip was gonna kill it, what he always do. Yeah. So I sent it to him, he blessed it, sent it right back. And we put it out there, you know, on all the streaming platforms, and it's going crazy, man, just to see it doing the millions, doing on Spotify and all that. I'm like, wow. So I told him we were gonna get killed on the video soon.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been a blessing.
And y'all kept it all the way Memphis, man.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get that root in there. So that's why when I knew, you know, I heard the Skinny Pimp in there sample, I was like, man, this Memphis right here. I said, this is like my heart back to the streets of Memphis right there, giving that back. So I thought it was dope. Yeah.
Word. And then another Memphis legend that you've collabed with and numerous times, Project Pat.
Man, big bro.
Your song "Real."
Yeah.
Tell us about that, bro. I mean, 'cause, you know what I mean? I know what it means. You know what I'm saying? But talk to us about the vibe of that song and how that came about.
And really when I started, I was moving around a little bit. This was like right when I got off tour too, and I was like, man, me and Pat, because me and Pat done a song before in like 2012. So, and that one I was still, you know, just getting my feet wet, still moving around. But right then I knew I was like fresh off tour. I was like really in that stage where I knew I was gonna go to another level with everything. So, you know, called him up and was like, you know, told him I had something for him that's really, you know, catchy, and I knew where he was in his life at the moment in terms of what type of records he was on and what type of vibe. And he always told me, like, Trub, we need to do something for the ladies. You know, the first collab, he told me we need to do something for the ladies, but I gave him something real street. Because I was trying to hear Pat talk that, you know, that street, but then when it came there, I was like, man, I'm gonna do this type of record that, you know, that he referred to me, and we did it. And I made sure it was simple and catchy, sent it to him. Pat literally sent it right back to me, so I knew he was rocking with it. And you know, we put it out there, and to see it do what it did, and it really caught both of us off guard, you know. Then I remember I went to Memphis, man, went to High 107. I was talking to Q about it, and right after that, and we was actually down there to shoot the video at the time, and right after that, it really started going crazy. And I was like, okay. And then Pat was like, man, let's hit the road. So from there, we started. You know, he took me on the road, and I was like, let's get it, you know. And we both just started headlining together. We kind of built something different, you know, to see that. So I can't thank Pat enough, man. He blessed me with that.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, real legend, man.
And the video's got 4 million views on YouTube.
Yeah.
Going crazy.
Yeah.
What has it been like being on the road with him? It's
a blessing. Pat, man, he one-on-one. You know, he's one-on-one. He for him to do that, because me coming up in Memphis, like I never dreamed, like we look at them like gods of the city. For sure. So I never looked at myself like, all right, man, I'm actually get to be on the road with Project Pat, even do a song with them. Like that looked impossible. You know what I'm saying? So to see that almost like it's a pinch yourself moment, but it's really dope, man, because going on the road, you know, he always tell me these little gems in terms of, you know, how to get up there, do my thing, each market, how to read each market, what they rocking with, what they not, different things like that, how to keep my set list, you know, don't do too much of the song, keep it short, keep it this, you know, stuff like that. He's always giving me those little gems, and then putting the word of God in my ear all the time, and also help me with anxiety and different things like that, man. So it's a blessing, man. Pat. You know, he one-on-one.
Yeah. Have you had the opportunity to go with him to any of the jails that he was going to and speaking with the inmates?
You know, I actually told him I want to do it. I haven't got to go yet. Okay. But I seen, you know, I'm seeing the impact of it, because you know, in the green room, you know, we got fans coming back there, giving them books and putting them on, you know, on stuff that he's giving the prisoners, you know, in terms terms of the prison reform and God and everything. So to see that impact, I'm like, man, but I definitely, you know, I wouldn't mind going because I told him it's so impactful. Yeah. It's incredible to see him doing that. You know, I'm proud of him. It's amazing. Yeah.
And then, you know, like a lot of the news articles started coming out talking about him going to the jails, but then they started saying that he was like a minister or.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
I saw that.
Yeah. When you were around him, like, do y'all even talk about, like, you know what I mean, like that type of stuff, like what the news is talking about? Like, how does he, you know, how does he react to, you know what I mean, people trying to put him in the preacher lane or what?
He really, he you know, he appreciate it, but he like, hey, man, he said, I ain't trying to be no preacher, you know. He just like, man, I'm just giving the word of God because, you know, that's what, you know, he's so passionate about that, and you love that, you know. Yeah. And me and Pep, we don't even really talk about music. We never really talk about music, and we always talk about it. He appreciates it. You know, he loves it because to see people appreciating his message and his word like that. But you know, he's not set out really to try to be labeled as a preacher or anything. He's like, man, look, I'm just preaching the word, you know, letting you know the word of God from my perspective, you know, letting you take it in, you know, and embrace it, you know, and also giving my story on how I came about it, you know, so it can influence you to do the same thing, you know, and not make the mistakes you making, you know.
Nah, for sure. Yeah. And man, shout out to Pat. Condolences to him too, because I know he just lost a son.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely tough, man.
It's in those types of situations, it's so important, you know, for us when we standing next to people who give us so much motivation to then be that crutch that they can lean on.
Exactly. Yeah, I believe, man.
How did you connect with Bone Crusher, and what's that experience been like, man?
Incredible, man. Crusher's a legend, man. You know, it's really shout out Lisa. She probably won't kill me if I say her name wrong with her last name, but we call her Lily. And Corrupt, you know, Dog Pound, man, you know, they've been rocking with me for a minute. So, but I remember that he called me on FaceTime. He was like, "Got somebody I want you to meet, you know, that heard your music," and it was Crusher, you know, and pinch yourself moment. You feel me? Like, because I was like, you know, another person you never think you're gonna meet. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, I told Crusher I'm riding around bumping, gripping the grain. You know, you know what I mean? His whole album is a classic, one of my favorite albums of all time. So. To meet him, you know, and see that he, you know, rocking my music and my talent, man, it was a blessing, man. I remember that was the greatest day ever. I'm calling everybody when I got on the phone with him, you know, because it was super exciting, you know, to hear that. So, but that's definitely how we met, you know. Shout out Lee and Corrupt, and it connected us, man, and Crusher, you know, embraced me, and it's been a blessing, man.
That's what's up, man. And what's it been like working with him?
Oh, it's incredible. Crusher, you learn so much, you know, because, you know, he truly has an understanding on music to a different level than what you see. You know, you see what you see in terms of your vision, but he see your vision beyond. You know, he sees the world, you know, and he really, you know, he gets it because he knows, you know, with doing such a, you know, iconic song, iconic album, you know, the greatest performance ever, you know. So when you see somebody that has a vision like that, you know, you take heed to that, you take all the intel you get from him, you learn from it. You know how to implement yourself, and you're just really a student, you know, because I'm a student of the game. So, but it's been incredible to work with him. The greatest thing is Crusher he let me be myself. He not trying to be like, nah, don't try to be this type of Trub. Don't be this. I'm not trying to change it. I want you to do you. I want you to do you. I'm gonna show you how to. You keep doing you and take it to a whole nother level. You know what I mean? So. That's basically what it's been like. It's incredible, man.
Nah, for sure. I think the dopest thing about Bro is that even before I like interviewed him and started establishing more of a relationship with him, when I would see him just around Atlanta and just observe, like he's such a polarizing figure, but then
100%.
But then he has a way to be able to like just level with people and to, you know what I mean? Be at that level, which I think that if you don't know him or you see him on TV, you wouldn't know or wouldn't expect, you know, for that, you know what I mean? But then, you know, have like some of the, you know, conversations and talking about, you know, humble. Real things. Yes,
100.
Very humble.
Super humble, 100.
You know?
It's incredible. You know what I mean? From all the success he had and see how humble and cool he is, man, and how fun he is. Life of the party, man. That's what I call it, life of the party. You know, you know, when I hear that Trub stuff, you know, I know what time it is.
For sure. Bro, do you ever sit back and just recognize, I mean, because from you telling me your story, like, it's like you have, you know, just like all of these like great like beacons like in these like different places that are like, you know, helping to point you, you know what I mean, like in the right direction, bro. Like do you have time to like sit back and reflect, you know, on like some of the great things that have happened to you thus far through the journey as well as the continuous motion?
You know what, that's a great question, because I haven't really sat back and looked at it, because I've been so in work mode and so on go. And it be people around me that tell me, man, look what you've done. Like, look at what you look at. And I don't even recognize it until they say it, because I be so in go mode. And I have a certain place in mind. I know where I want to go, where I'm trying to take this thing. And I made my mind up a long time ago. I was like, I don't care how long it takes to get there. I don't care what it takes to get there. I know I'm gonna get there, because I just believe in myself that much. And you know, and that's why I tell the kids back in Memphis, like when I went back and talked to them and try to get them to understand, like, don't let nobody stop you, just believe in yourself. So me so locked in to what I'm doing, I never pay attention to everything I've done, and even the people, I know it, you know, and I'm humbled by it and I appreciate it, I'm grateful. But I never really pay attention. I'd be like, man, they tell me, look at this, you know, and I'd be like, that's incredible, you know, yeah.
How do you feel about the current state of the culture? You know, with, you know, it seems like the focus is so much on, you know, everybody drilling shit, you know what I'm saying, slide, and, you know, all that. You know, you being someone who comes from that environment,
for sure,
you know, has truly seen probably more things than the stories that some of these other people, you know what I mean, are telling. But then you've made a conscious decision to not make that the basis of your music.
For sure. Oh yeah, most definitely. I believe I believe hip hop is in a great state with being, because, you know, like I said, I feel like it's the #1 biggest genre in terms of all the other genres. So to see it, you know, be at that point of where it's at right now, I think it's in a great place with that. Now, in terms of all the messaging and, you know, and what people putting in their music, especially the young folk coming up. I'm talking about super young, you know, coming up. I think they got to really start looking at tapping and to pay more attention to the blueprint of the greats and look at them, because I think a lot of them look at, when they talk about stuff like that, where, like I said, we went to my slide and, you know, and murder and everything like that, you know, really they don't look at it as it's a short-term window for that. It's a it's a short window for that. You know what I mean? But it's not really a long window for that. When you talk about down the road, when you talk about longevity, you talking about having an amazing legacy. You gotta look at the blueprint of the greats, you know, and see what they're doing, how they here 10, 20 years and still, you know, still killing it. When I'm with Pat and we at these shows, I'm seeing people that's 18, 17, singing songs that he released in 1999, like it just came out yesterday, word for word, you know. And I'm like, that's what you want. That motivated me. When I see that, I'm like, that's what you want. That's what you should be shooting for. You know what I mean? It don't fall in. You know, don't fall in the trap of just trying to be like, man, I'm gonna just be one side. I'm gonna talk about, I know you know your hood. I know you know what's going on. I know what's popping. But at the end of the day, don't make that your end game. Don't make that your end story. Like, know that it's a bigger destiny for you. You know what I'm saying? If you open your mind up and see past that, you know what I'm saying? You can talk your little stuff in there, but just see past that, and you're gonna have, you know, look at longevity, look at the blueprint. Of the greats.
Can you speak to us about, you know, your recording process? Like, what does it take, you know what I'm saying, to make, you know, like, you know, one of your songs, and knowing that you don't stay in one style. So
appreciate it.
Do you, like, for a different type of song, does the studio vibe have to be a different vibe? Or, you know what I mean? Like, what's kind of your studio prep? What's kind of your...
Yeah, for me, I don't like nobody in the studio with me. I just like me and my engineer, unless I'm doing a feature or something, a collab. Then, you know, on different, you know, both minds in there and we working. Unless somebody out of state, then I got to send it to them. But I like it just me and my engineer, you know, because I like to focus. I don't like nothing extra. I don't like people talking and stuff. I don't like nothing going around because I'm so locked in. I'm a perfectionist, you know. So for me, my whole setup is, you know, just me and my engineer. Got my bottle of water, make sure everything's straight, and I'm locked in. You know, I never really got into a whole lot of people in my sessions and different things going on. I never done that. You know what I'm saying? If I'm trying to pay attention to something, you know, I look at my phone or think about, you know, exactly, you know, what maybe storyline I was going for and kind of look at that. But I'm so locked in. I like to just be focused, just being my engineer, just focus on the work. That's it.
And you mentioned, you know, like new artists, you know, should look to, you know, some of the legends, some of the greats, you know what I'm saying, like to seek advice or just to, you know, see different ways, you know, how to record. So I got to ask you, Do you write or are you a punch-in artist?
I'm a writer, and I do punch in.
Okay, yes sir. No, that's
yeah, I do
respectful.
punch in. But I say more my punch ins more so like if I'm trying to really perfect a bar or something, or if I'm going in my fast flow, speed flow. I just I'm such a perfectionist, so I want to make sure these words connect right and different things like that. I want it to be fluid, going through. So
sure.
for me, that's the only time I do that. But I'm not that guy where I can just go in there and I'm off top of the mind and I'm just punching in. Hey, let me think of that bar.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna record that. Nah, I can't do that. I'm in the old school formula. Give me pen and pad.
Yeah.
Let's write it down. I want something tangible. I want that. And I can read that and that's what it. That's what it. But I merely kind of memorize it. So when I go in there, it's really natural.
Nah, for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely think more artists should write nowadays because I feel like it's them just punching in is taken away from more substance in the music.
Yeah.
But then I think that there should and could be like just a good balance in it because also I mean if you like just really like look back, like take a step back and think about like what punching in is. If you look at it like from traditional African music,
Facts.
that's scatting. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's a
Real
form
talk.
of that. You know what I'm saying? Which
Yeah.
is actually a form of being able to find your melody. And,
Exactly.
and in the moment, you can find dope words, melodies, and things like that that go together. So
Facts.
I think the combination of both can make greatness. You know what I mean? But I don't think
Exactly.
that's strictly punching in. And I don't think
Nah.
that only writing, because I think that you have to get like that natural feel
Exactly.
of it. You know what I mean?
100%. 100%.
No,
Totally
for sure,
agree.
for sure. Man, what's one of the biggest life lessons that you've learned?
Man, do today what others don't to have tomorrow what others won't. That's my biggest like
Well, you
life
got that
lesson
written
ever.
down somewhere, man? How you-
Yeah. My pops gave me that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago when he knew I was trying to go after this. He was like, if you really want to go after this, you got to do today what others don't to have tomorrow what others won't. Because they want this,
Yeah.
but you got to do something that they ain't willing to do. You got to put in the work past what they willing to put in. You got to go hard on the stage past what they willing to go.
Yeah.
You got to lay it out on the line if you really want to be great.
Yeah.
And you got to have patience. You got to have patience. You know what I'm saying? You got to be under control. You got to know you can't lose control just because you ain't getting it when you want to. Some ain't falling in place like you want to fall. You got to stay even keel. You got to keep God first, and you got to be hungry. Even when you getting it, that's when you should be hungry.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm getting blessed. Yeah, I'm getting blessed. Oh, I did this. Oh, yeah, you did it. Yeah, I did it. Nah, I'm still hungry. That ain't enough.
Come on now.
I wanna keep working. I wanna keep working. Ain't about no money. Ain't about none of that. I wanna keep working.
Yeah.
That's it.
I was just in New York, bro, and I was in the studio with Jim Jones, and I went there at 1 a.m, and bro was recording until like 5, 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then he finished recording, and then he let me sit down and interview him.
Yeah.
And all I was thinking the whole time we was in the studio was I was like, yo, like I want to forever have this energy to create and to continue to be great because I don't ever want to lose that energy, bro. Like the energy I saw bro with like in creating.
Facts.
Like, bro, it was like no other, man.
Yeah. Unbelievable. I can only imagine, man.
Yeah.
I know Jimmy a hard worker, so yeah,
for
100%.
sure.
100%.
How'd you get the nickname the Iron Chef?
Really, I was coming up with this whole look, with this little alias, was right before I went on the Dub Car Show tour, man, right before I started doing that, going through artist development. I was really looking in the studio one day and I was like, man, I'm cooking up stuff, man. Like, I feel like a chef up in here, And I remember I started tapping into it. I just had that feeling. It just came over me. So from there, I started to really talk about it in interviews, and then I started saying it on stage. I started seeing people react to it, and they liked it. And people was calling me chef sometimes. They call me Trub, what up, chef? So I was like, I like that. Yeah. So, and when I did it, it really elevated my brand, and people just really embraced it. And I'm actually talking about all races. So when I saw that, that's really what got it. I was like, man, I started seeing different races. I never saw that before I started doing the whole, chef thing. So when I started doing that, I saw, people from all different races start really loving it and really embracing it. I was like, man, that's dope.
Word. Is that something that you gonna like tap into?
Or? That's a good question. You know what? I go on the show. I probably burn some stuff up, but nah. I don't know if I'm gonna go into cooking. So I might keep that at the crib.
I can dig it.
But yeah. But in terms of the whole branding of it in terms of people like enjoying it, in terms of events you might come to, you know, that might be really dope with the whole chef thing. You know what I'm saying? My manager Lima thought of some real dope stuff. I think you know, it's gonna be dope how I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, for sure. What else you working on, bro? What else you got coming up that you excited about?
Really, I'm really excited about what I'm doing. My new project getting ready to come out with, Compliments of the Chef. Really excited about that. I got a new single getting ready to drop called Chimera featuring Corrupt.
Okay.
Really crazy. It's incredible. You know what I'm saying?
Young Gotti.
Corrupt Young Gotti, man. He did his thing on there, and in terms of talking that talk, you know, that he does, you know, like he did on next episode. So it's dope, man. So I'm really excited about that. And the biggest thing with me and Crusher, you know, we doing some amazing records. So when I tell you the excitement level for that, and with the world going, and you know, like the impact of that is gonna be crazy. Because you know, Bone Crusher, when he put his stamp on something, he like this what it is. It's through the roof. So I'm super excited about that, man. So you gonna get some real waves from me that I feel like it's gonna be some impactful stuff, man.
Word.
Have some fun.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And before we get out of here, bro, can you leave us with some words of truth, realness, unique, and blessings?
Yeah, true, man. Always be you. You know, be yourself. No matter, you know, what you're doing. You know, keep it true. Keep it true to you. Always keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Just never let the game or nobody, you know, make you feel like you got to deviate from that. You know what I'm saying? Just always keep it real. Stand on your 10 and be unique. Don't fit in. Fit out, and don't be afraid to fit out. Don't think that just because you're doing something different, it might not work, because what you think might not work is the thing that might work. So always do that and stay blessed. As long as you keep God first, you're gonna win. You're gonna win big time. That's all I did. Like when I felt like nothing was working, I felt like, you know, nothing was gonna happen for me, a blessing came out of nowhere. When I met Crusher, that was a blessing came out of nowhere. You know, I'm just in the midst of working, and you meet somebody that you grew up listening to and that you really a big fan of, and it just come out of nowhere like that, man. That ain't nothing but God. I can't look, ain't nobody else, you know. So I'm like, you know, so always do that, stay blessed, and you're gonna win. There's nothing gonna stop you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You got any shout outs you wanna give?
Hey man, I wanna shout out, you know, I wanna shout out my family, man. Shout out mom and pops, shout out my big brother, man. Shout out, you know, Bone Crusher, man. I wanna shout out Story, I wanna shout out Project Pat, I wanna shout out Lima, shout out Turno T, you know, Nation, you know, my whole team, Marcus, Brandon, man, Elite Sound, Big Slam, shout out the whole family, man. I want to shout out everybody for believing in me, Swamp Izzo, man, just everybody, the whole fam. So thank you so much, man. I got to shout out Off the Porch, you already know.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Trub, appreciate you pulling up, jumping off the porch with us, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Just get it.
Yeah, I gotta reload, still got the cheat code money on Debo. We don't even need those running on beast mode. Better hide your from me, cause